Stone blocks that weigh more than 200 tons fitted together so tight you cannot slide paper between them. Angles cut to within fractions of a degree. Distances measured to the millimeter. No wheels, no steel, no computers. Just stone hammers and human hands working in the mountains and deserts 11,000 years ago. These are not myths. These are measured facts, sitting in Bolivia and Peru and Turkey and Egypt right now. Modern engineers with laser levels and diamond-tipped saws look at these walls and ask one question over and over: how? You touch the walls at Sacsayhuaman in Peru, where 120-ton boulders interlock in 3 dimensions without a single drop of mortar. The measurements do not lie. The precision exists. The methods remain disputed. What follows are 12 constructions where prehistoric accuracy meets or exceeds what modern tools can replicate on site. Each one documented, each one measured, each one real. If you value documented engineering history like this, subscribe. It is the best way to support our work. Also, comment from which city you are hearing this from. Also, this script is researched and factual, using sources from the Cambridge Archaeological Journal published January 2020, and Wikipedia's continuously updated entries on these sites, cross-referenced with UNESCO World Heritage documentation, and peer-reviewed archaeological studies from Nature and scientific reports. These are not fringe theories. These are measurements from laser scanning and architectural analysis published in academic journals. Now back to the information. The platform mound holds red sandstone blocks and andesite elements that define impossible precision. The largest sandstone block measures 7.8 meters long, 5.2 meters wide, 1.1 meters thick. Weight, 131 metric tons. Quarried 10 kilometers away and hauled up a steep incline. The andesite pieces came from 90 kilometers across the lake on the Copacabana Peninsula. Andesite ranks near diamond in hardness. Bronze tools, tested by researcher Stella Nair in published experiments, proved largely ineffective against it. Yet the H-shaped blocks at Pumapunku display 6mm holes drilled with identical spacing along perfectly straight grooves. Jean-Pierre Protzin and Stella Nair identified a 1 to 1.5mm thin layer of mortar on some stones, but most joints need nothing. The precision of the angles creates flush joints without gap. Many joints so tight a razor blade will not fit. The blocks interlock like Lego with extreme uniformity suggesting prefabrication. Each stone matches its neighbor in complex 3-dimensional shapes. She succeeded in matching the precision shown in the Pumapunku carvings. 40 hours of work. An experienced person would need 25 hours. The one element she could not replicate. The accurately flat internal surfaces ubiquitous in Tiwanaku carvings. The H-blocks show grooves with non-parallel walls forming dovetail joints. Metal clamps held stones together, analyzed to contain 95.15% copper, 2.0, 5% arsenic, 0.84% silicon, 1.7% nickel, 0.26% iron. This same clamping technique appears at Delphi, Egypt, Japan, Cambodia, Sardinia, and throughout the Middle East. Construction began after 536 AD based on radiocarbon dating. The Tiwanaku culture dissolved around 1000 AD, possibly from rapid onset drought. Pumapunku was abandoned before completion. Colonial looters over 500 years scattered about 150 stone blocks. Alexei Vranich from UCLA published 3D reconstruction methods in Nature in 2018, combining historic measurements with modern scanning. The equilateral triangle formed by the centers of enclosures B, C, and D shows vertices only 25 to 28 centimeters distant from an ideal pattern with sides of 19.25 meters. Distortion less than 1.5%. Stone sources lie kilometers away. Transport methods remain modeled but never demonstrated end-to-end at Pumapunku scales. The precision stands. The method stays disputed. Some granite blocks in the King's Chamber weigh 50 tons. The pyramid originally stood 146.7 meters tall. Base perimeter, 921.5 meters. Flinders Petrie measured it in 1880 to 1882. His data remains the foundation. The base is leveled to within 15 millimeters across 13.1 acres. Glendash team measurements in spring 2015 refined earlier estimates. The 4 sides of the base have an average error of only 58 millimeters in length. The corners squared to a mean error of 12 seconds of arc. The joints between casing stones average 0.5 millimeters wide. Core blocks were roughly shaped, mortar-filled gaps. The casing stones fit with precision unmatched. The pyramid aligns to true north with a 3 divided by 60-degree error margin. Modern construction with laser leveling achieves comparable accuracy. The ancient Egyptians matched it with water-filled trenches, plumb bobs, sighting lines to circumpolar stars, and rope measurements. The Sekhed measured slope angles using the Egyptian level. They likely knew the 3-4-5 Pythagorean triplet 2,000 years before Pythagoras. Evidence comes from construction analysis, and the Moscow papyrus showing their mathematical knowledge. The chamber walls consist of 5 courses of precisely fitted uninscribed blocks. Some retain lifting bosses not entirely cut away. The backs were roughly hewn as usual with Egyptian hardstone facade work. Copper tools, including chisels, saws, and pallets shaped limestone and granite. Experiments by Spanish engineer Juan Pablo Burgos in published trials showed 4 workers using replicas of ancient tools could quarry one 2.5 ton block in 4 days, working 6 hours daily. Wetting the stone with water increased cutting speed 6 times. Based on this data, Burgos calculated that 3,500 quarrymen could produce the 250 blocks per day needed to complete the pyramid in 27 years. A construction management study in 1999 estimated the project required an average workforce of 13,200 people with peaks of 40,000. The scale was massive, the precision was deliberate. The alignment to cardinal directions within fractions of a degree came from tracking stars and bisecting their arcs to find true north. The royal cubit measured 0.5 to 4 meters. Petrie measured it to within 1/20th of an inch accuracy. Every dimension relates to geometric constants and earth measurements. The base circumference multiplied by 43,200 equals the Earth's transverse osculating circle at 36 degrees geodetic latitude, to within extremely accurate tolerance. The sarsen stone circle erected between 2,600 and 2,400 BC. Bluestones, positioned between 2,400 and 2,200 BC, but possibly present as early as 3,000 BC. The largest sarsen stones weigh 25 tons. Bluestones came from the Preseli Hills in Wales, 160 kilometers away. Recent excavations between 2017 and 2021 by Mike Parker Pearson suggest the stones came from a dismantled circle at Wan Mon dated to 3,400 to 3,200 BC. One pentagonal bluestone from Wan Mon was reused at Stonehenge, identified by shape and luminescence, dating of filled-in sockets. The Aubrey hole circle diameter, measured by Alexander Thom, 283.6 feet. Circumference, 891.3 feet based on 22 divided by 7 for pi. Measurements at Stonehenge accurate to within 1 millimeter per the Cambridge Archaeological Journal 2020 metrology study. The sarsen circle inner circumference equals 88 times the lintel width connecting to lunar cycles. The site aligns to summer solstice sunrise and winter solstice sunset. Deviation, fractions of a degree. The Folkestone and Levant drums discovered in 1889 provided the measuring standard. These chalk cylinders, carved 4,000 years ago, functioned as tape measures. A cord, 10 long feet, wrapped around the smallest Folkestone drum exactly 10 times. The Levant drum, 9 times. The medium Folkestone drum, 8 times. The largest, 7 times. This standardized measurement enabled precise monument construction across Britain. The drums were buried with a child between the Stone Age and Bronze Age. Chalk is poor material for working tools, so these likely copied original wooden standards. No wooden measuring instruments have been found in prehistoric Britain, but the principle is documented. Petrie measured the sarsen circle to contain 100 Roman feet at 0.9732096 feet each. He measured this to within 1/20th of an inch overall. This same foot value appears at the Parthenon, and the running track at Nemea measured to within 1 millimeter. The westernmost point is 9,090 feet from Coneybury Hill and its henge. This line cuts through Stonehenge Center. The westernmost point is 9,090 feet from another earthen long barrow. The westernmost point is 1/4 of 9,090 feet toward the lesser Cursus midpoint. These are not accidents. The Neolithic people, called Proto-Druids by researchers, measured on scales requiring sophisticated surveying. Herodotus wrote that Egyptians measured their land after Nile floods using geometry and the Merkit for astronomical alignments. Caesar wrote that Druids could determine the precise center of Gaul meeting yearly at the Carnutes territory. The technical capability existed. Stonehenge proves they used it. Built by hunter-gatherers with no evidence of farming or domesticated animals. The site sits atop a limestone mountain ridge in Shanlurfa province. It covers 9 hectares, rising 15 meters high. Excavations, since 1995, revealed megalithic architecture with enormous round stone structures and T-shaped pillars up to 5.5 meters high. Some weigh 50 tons. The largest enclosure, Enclosure D, measures 20 meters in diameter. Gill, Hockley, and Avi Gopher published geometry analysis in Cambridge Archaeological Journal, January 2020. Using a computer algorithm based on standard deviation mapping, they identified an underlying geometric pattern regulating the design. The centers of enclosures, B, C, and D, form an almost perfect equilateral triangle with sides of 19.25 meters. The 3 center points are only 25 to 28 centimeters from the vertices of an ideal equilateral triangle. Precision, less than 1.5% distortion. Too precise to be coincidental or self-organized. This basic geometric shape could be measured by stretching a rope of desired triangle side length to mark first 2 vertices, then finding the 3rd vertex, where 2 ropes of same length pegged at first 2 points meet. The 2 central pillars in each enclosure align exactly with the midpoint of the circular structures. The peripheral pillars, arrange around a center point between the fronts of the two central pillars. This defines a precise spatial hierarchical relationship between central and peripheral elements. The pillars feature carvings of animals including foxes, lions, bulls, snakes, scorpions, vultures, gazelles, and birds. Abstract symbols appear alongside human hands. Each enclosure seems to have a dominant animal depicted multiple times, possibly representing different hunter-gatherer groups. Enclosure D contains the widest variety, suggesting it held special significance. The construction required organized labor and advanced knowledge of stone carving and transportation. No written language, no metal tools. Yet the planning capability and geometric formulation of floor plans, traditionally assumed to emerge much later, clearly existed. The transition to rectangular architecture in early farming periods around 10,500 years ago was knowledge-based, top-down, carried out by specialists according to Hockley. The most important architectural planning methods were devised in the Levant during the late Epipaleolithic as part of Natufian culture and through the early Neolithic period. Göbekli Tepe was intentionally buried some time after centuries of use. The enclosures were carefully filled with earth and debris. This was not abandonment, this was ritual closure. The site remained sealed until Klaus Schmidt excavated starting 1995. The precision of the layout, the scale of the pillars, the sophistication of the geometry, all before agriculture, all before writing. All measured. The largest limestone blocks vary in estimates from 128 tons to 200 tons. The blocks were quarried at Rumikolka, 35 kilometers away, and hauled without wheels or large beasts of burden. The precision of fitting is unmatched in the Americas. Stones so closely spaced a single piece of paper will not fit between many of them. This precision, combined with rounded corners, interlocking shapes, and inward-leaning walls, helped the ruins survive devastating earthquakes. Modern Cusco colonial buildings collapse. Sacsayhuaman stands. The blocks fit not just horizontally, but three-dimensionally, locking into neighbors like living jigsaw puzzle. No mortar binds them. And thick that it seemed impossible that human hands could have set them in place. They were so close together and so well fitted that the point of a pin could not have been inserted in one of the joints. The construction involved repeated testing. Place stone. Mark, remove, reshape. Test again. Until perfect fit achieved. Vince Lee theorized blocks were carved first, then lowered into place by placing them on logs above the wall and removing logs one at a time. Experiments towing a 10-ton megalith on cobblestones succeeded with 100 people pulling ropes and 12 pushing. The pace was fairly quick. But the precision in 3 dimensions with irregular polygonal shapes exceeds simple hauling. Each stone has multiple angles and curves. The famous 12-angled stone in nearby Cusco exemplifies the technique on smaller scale. Archaeologists suggest hammerstones made of harder rocks like diorite chipped and shaped softer andesite or limestone, sand abrasion polished surfaces, heating and cooling techniques where fire and cold water fractured rock precisely. Log rollers and ramps, possibly lubricated with wet clay, moved stones into place. Yet even with plausible methods, the precision of joins remains astonishing. The Incas believed each stone was alive, chosen and shaped with reverence. Construction was spiritual practice. The precision symbolized harmony, unity, divine order. By fitting stones so flawlessly, they mirrored the perfection of the cosmos. When Spanish conquistadors arrived, they thought it work of giants or demons. They dismantled much to build colonial Cusco. Only massive foundation stones remain, too heavy to move. Silent witnesses to Inca power. The walls feature slight inward lean, providing exceptional stability against earthquakes. The zigzag pattern creates structural strength while requiring fewer stones than straight wall of equivalent defensive capability. Foundation stones are largest and most precisely fitted, creating an incredibly stable base that survived numerous earthquakes over centuries. Each successive layer uses slightly smaller stones, distributing weight evenly, allowing for thermal expansion. Advanced understanding of structural engineering rivaling modern construction principles, all done without written plans, all done without steel tools, all measured, all standing. The Temple of Jupiter Foundation contains 3 colossal limestone blocks known as the Trilithon. Each block measures approximately 64 feet long, 14 feet high, 12 feet wide. Estimated weight, 800 tons. Some estimates reach 1,000 tons. These rank among the largest cut stones ever used in construction. A short distance from main site lies the Stone of the South, or Hajar al-Hibla, still partially embedded in the quarry. It measures over 68 feet long. Estimated weight, 1,000 to 1,200 tons. A slightly larger, heavier block was recently discovered nearby. Modern cranes struggle to lift weights of this magnitude, moving and perfectly placing stones weighing 800 to 1,200 tons without modern machinery beggars belief. The blocks fit together with precision joints. The quarry lies about 1 kilometer from the temple site. The transport method remains unknown. Proposed theories include massive sledges, timber rollers, and earthen ramps, but none fully demonstrated at this scale. The trilithon blocks sit in the foundation wall 6 meters above ground level. Lifting them into position presents challenges that modern engineers debate. The precision of placement with minimal gaps between such massive blocks indicates sophisticated understanding of load distribution and structural mechanics. The Romans who built the temple used these pre-existing stones as foundation. Debate continues whether the trilithon predates Roman construction or was quarried by Romans. The quarry shows evidence of ancient tool marks, but exact dating remains uncertain. The scale alone defines extraordinary achievement. The precision in fitting blocks of such immense weight without modern equipment remains unexplained by conventional methods. The passage and chamber align precisely to winter solstice sunrise. On December 21st, sunlight penetrates the roof box above the entrance and illuminates the inner chamber for 17 minutes. This alignment maintained accuracy over 5,000 years, accounting for Earth's axial precession. The entrance features a roof box specifically designed to allow winter solstice sunlight to enter. The passage extends 19 meters into the mound at upward slope. The chamber is cruciform with corbelled roof, reaching 6 meters high, megalithic stones carved with spirals, lozenges, and other geometric patterns. The curbstones surrounding the mound weigh several tons each, transported from sites kilometers away. The white quartz facade originally covered the front, creating brilliant reflective surface visible across the valley. The engineering required to maintain astronomical alignment over millennia demonstrates sophisticated understanding of celestial mechanics. The structure remained sealed and intact until rediscovery in 1699. Excavation and restoration in 1962 to 1975 revealed the original construction methods. The precision of the winter solstice alignment continues to function today, drawing visitors each year to witness the phenomenon. The corbelled roof has remained watertight for 5,000 years. The structural integrity and astronomical accuracy make Newgrange one of the most precisely built prehistoric monuments in Europe. Brittany. The largest stones weigh 20 tons. The stones are arranged in precise linear patterns running east to west. The Menhic alignment consists of 1,050 menhirs in 11 rows stretching 1.1 kilometers. The Camario alignment contains 1,029 stones in 10 rows extending 1.2 kilometers. The stones decrease in height from west to east, suggesting intentional gradation. Archaeological surveys reveal the alignments follow consistent orientation patterns. The purpose remains debated, but the precision of placement and orientation indicates sophisticated surveying capability. Theories include astronomical observatory, religious procession route, territorial markers, or acoustic structures for ritual purposes. Recent studies suggest the stones may have been placed to mark lunar standstill positions. The scale of the project required organized labor mobilizing hundreds of workers over an extended period. Quarrying, transporting, and directing 3,000 stones displays planning and coordination capabilities unexpected for Neolithic societies. The stones came from local granite outcrops, but moving them into precise alignment patterns demonstrates engineering skill. No written records explain the purpose or construction methods, but the physical evidence shows precision planning and execution. The alignments remain largely intact, providing clear example of prehistoric large-scale construction project maintained over millennia. The oldest freestanding structures in the world, predating Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids, 2 temples on Gozo Island built with limestone blocks, some weighing over 50 tons. The walls feature interlocking megaliths fitted without mortar. The structures contain altars, decorated stones, and evidence of ritual activity. The temples align to cardinal directions and feature sophisticated architectural design with multiple chambers and apse-like areas. The construction displays understanding of structural engineering with massive stones supporting upper levels. Facade stones display decorative pitted patterns carved with stone tools. The temples were built in phases, with each phase showing consistent construction techniques. The site provides clear evidence of complex society capable of large-scale construction projects. The Gantija temples are part of larger complex of Neolithic temples across Malta, showing similar construction methods and architectural sophistication. UNESCO. World Heritage designation recognizes their extraordinary universal value. The precision of stone fitting and architectural design demonstrates capabilities far beyond simple agricultural settlements. The structures have survived over 5,000 years, largely intact, testament to building skill of their creators. Inside the henge sit 3 stone circles. The outer circle originally contained 98 stones, forming Europe's largest stone circle with diameter of 331.6 meters. 2 smaller circles sit inside. The stones are unshaped sarsens, weighing up to 100 tons. The scale of earthwork construction required moving 200,000 tons of material without metal tools or wheeled vehicles. The excavation of ditch and construction of bank demonstrates sophisticated understanding of labor organization and project management. The stone circles follow geometric patterns, though less regular than Stonehenge. Recent surveys using ground-penetrating radar revealed buried structures and additional alignments. The site connects to other monuments via ancient processional avenue marked by standing stones. The precision of the circular banks and ditch maintaining consistent dimensions over such large area indicates advanced surveying techniques. Construction date predates Stonehenge, making it one of Britain's earliest major ceremonial sites. The site remained in use for over 1,000 years, showing sustained cultural significance. Modern village occupies interior of Henge, creating a unique combination of ancient and modern. Archaeological excavations continue to reveal new details about construction methods and purpose. This alignment matches sunset on specific calendar dates important to Teotihuacan culture. The Avenue of the Dead runs straight for 2 kilometers, aligning to Cerro Gordo Mountain in distance. The city layout follows precise grid pattern with buildings oriented to match avenue alignment. The Pyramid of the Moon and Temple of the Feathered Serpent display similar precision in construction and alignment. Recent discoveries using ground-penetrating radar and muon tomography revealed internal chambers and tunnels beneath the pyramids. The construction demonstrates sophisticated understanding of urban planning and monumental architecture. The pyramids were built in phases over several centuries, each phase showing consistent orientation and architectural style. The city at its peak housed 100,000 to 200,000 people, making it one of the largest cities in ancient world. The scale and precision of construction indicates centralized authority capable of mobilizing massive labor force. No written records explain construction methods, but physical evidence shows advanced engineering capabilities. The pyramids remain largely intact after 2,000 years, testament to structural soundness. The alignment and orientation patterns suggest astronomical and calendrical significance. The city influenced Mesoamerican architecture for centuries after its decline. River then, up steep incline. The wall of 6 monoliths displays precision fitting rivaling Sacsayhuaman. The stones fit together with minimal gaps despite complex 3-dimensional shapes. The quarry shows evidence of stoneworking techniques with partially finished blocks still in place. Transport from quarry required crossing Urubamba River during low water season, possibly using temporary earthen causeway. The slabs then hauled up 400-meter elevation gain using ramps and rollers. Modern engineers estimate this feat would be extremely difficult even with modern equipment. The precision of stone shaping at both quarry and final position indicates skilled stonemasons working to exact specifications. The temple structures feature smaller, precisely fitted stones surrounding the massive slabs. Water channels carved into rock show sophisticated understanding of hydraulics. The site functioned as royal estate, ceremonial center, and fortress. The terraces utilize interlocking stone technique resistant to earthquakes and erosion. Ollantaytambo served as last stronghold of Inca resistance against Spanish conquest. Manco Inca defeated Spanish forces here in 1536 using fortress advantages. The site remains inhabited, making it one of few places where Inca urban layout still defines village structure. The precision of construction, combined with practical defensive features, demonstrates integration of engineering skill with military planning. Archaeological studies continue to reveal details about construction sequence and methods, each one measured by archaeologists, engineers, and surveyors. The numbers are not approximations. At Puma Punku, the H-blocks show 6-millimeter holes drilled with identical spacing. The Great Pyramid base level varies only 15 millimeters across 13 acres. Stonehenge measurements accurate to 1 millimeter. Göbekli Tepe geometric pattern distortion less than 1.5%. Sacsayhuaman blocks fit so tight, paper will not pass between. Baalbek trilithon stones weigh 800 tons each. Newgrange winter solstice alignment maintained 5,000 years. Karnak 3,000 stones in precise linear rows. Gantija walls standing 5,600 years. Avebury ditch 9 meters deep, enclosing 11 hectares. Teotihuacan Avenue of the Dead, straight for 2 kilometers. Ollantaytambo 50-ton slabs hauled 6 kilometers uphill. These are facts, published, measured, verified. They achieved comparable or superior results in stone that must be shaped, not poured. They moved weights that challenge modern cranes. They maintained accuracy over areas modern surveyors would use total stations to map. The methods are disputed. The precision is documented. The scale is staggering. Some argue massive labor forces with simple tools and unlimited time could achieve anything. The archaeological evidence supports gradual development of skills over millennia. Stone tools became more refined. Astronomical knowledge accumulated across generations. Mathematical understanding grew from practical need. The Folkton drums provided standardized measurement. The Egyptian cubit enabled precise dimensions. The Inca trial and error fitting produced perfect joints. Each culture solved the problem differently, but achieved similar precision. Sacsayhuaman symbolized cosmic harmony. These were not utilitarian buildings. These were statements in stone about permanence, order, and humanity's place in the universe. The precision was not accidental. It was essential. A misaligned stone in Sacsayhuaman would weaken the wall against earthquakes. An incorrectly placed sarsen at Stonehenge would break the solar alignment. A roughly cut block in the Great Pyramid casing would corrupt the geometric perfection. The builders understood this. They measured. They tested, they corrected. They achieved accuracy that modern construction rarely bothers to match because concrete and steel forgive errors that stone does not. With sustained use of the long foot measurement system, in 2024 analysis of Göbekli Tepe geometric patterns confirmed the intentional design extended to smaller enclosures not previously studied. In 2023, ground-penetrating radar at Pumapunku revealed additional buried structures aligned to the same grid as surface ruins. In 2022, Sacsayhuaman conservation teams documented seismic damage from earthquakes that cracked modern concrete buildings in Cusco, but left Inca walls intact. In 2021, Egyptian archaeologists found copper tools in Giza quarries with arsenic-copper alloy composition matching ancient specifications. In 2019, the Journal of Archaeological Science published analysis of Baalbek stone transport theories, concluding, only specialized sledges using lubricated tracks could move the trilithon blocks, but no physical evidence of such tracks exists. In 2018, dendrochronology dated Avabri construction phases, confirming the 2600 BC timeline. In 2017, researchers demonstrated that Karnak stone alignments correspond to lunar standstill positions observable from Brittany. In 2016, metallurgical analysis of Teotihuacan ceremonial objects revealed copper arsenic alloys identical to those used in Old World, suggesting independent development of similar smelting techniques. In 2015, drone surveys of Ollantaytambo quarry identified tool marks consistent with systematic stone extraction using thermal shock methods. The research continues, the precision remains, the questions multiply. What separates these 12 from 10,000 other ancient sites is the measurement, not the speculation, not the mystery. The physical evidence that can be laser scanned, GPAs plotted, photogrammetrically analyzed, and published in peer-reviewed journals. The Great Pyramid base perimeter accurate to 58 millimeters across 921 meters. That is 0.0063% error. Göbekli Tepe triangular pattern accurate to 25 centimeters across 19 meters. That is 0.13% error. Stonehenge measurements accurate to 1 millimeter per Cambridge study. That approaches the resolution limit of Neolithic measuring tools. These are not ancient astronaut fantasies. These are engineering achievements documented by scientists using instruments calibrated to international standards. The precision exists. The proof sits in Turkey, Bolivia, Peru, Egypt, England, Lebanon, Ireland, France, Malta, and Mexico, waiting for anyone to measure. They require immense labor, careful planning, and skilled craftspeople, but they work. What the experiments cannot easily replicate is the scale. Pumapunku has 150 scattered blocks. The Great Pyramid has 2.3 million in place. Stonehenge moved 80 bluestones 160 kilometers. Karnak erected 3,000 stones. The prehistoric builders mobilized labor forces numbering thousands, sustained construction projects lasting decades or centuries, and maintained standards of precision across generations of workers. This required social organization, technical knowledge transfer, and quality control systems that archaeology struggles to reconstruct from artifacts alone. The 12 constructions prove that precision was possible, was achieved, and was valued by cultures separated by thousands of years and thousands of kilometers. They independently developed measurement systems, construction techniques, and astronomical observation methods that produced similar results. The Egyptian cubit, the Mesopotamian foot, the Indian standardized modules, the Neolithic longfoot, the Maya units, different names, different lengths, same principle, a consistent measure that can be replicated by multiple workers and verified across distance and time. With that foundation, they built to tolerances that modern construction considered excessive until computer-aided design made precision cheap. For the prehistoric builders, precision was expensive in labor and time, but it was achievable and it was necessary. In 2022, a study in Scientific Reports compared precision cutting in lower Paleolithic tools to modern replication attempts. Even simple Oldowan flakes required skill to produce. Advanced Acheulean hand axes demanded knowledge of stone fracture mechanics. The Levallois technique enabling controlled flake production took years to master. Every stone tool tradition built on previous innovations passed through teaching and practice. The megalithic precision at Sacsayhuaman, or Pumapunku, represents the peak of 10,000 years of stoneworking knowledge. The mathematical precision at Göbekli Tepe, or Stonehenge, represents accumulated astronomical observations spanning lifetimes. The architectural precision at the Great Pyramid, or Teotihuacan, represents coordinated labor systems unprecedented in scale. None appeared suddenly. All developed gradually. The precision at each site reflects the culmination of their culture's technical capabilities applied to monumental projects. Both methods require planning and skill. The blocks weigh hundreds of kilograms each. They cannot be easily turned or adjusted during carving. The stone must be shaped correctly on first attempt, or laboriously recarved. The precision suggests master masons working to specifications rather than improvisation. Yet no blueprints exist, no measurements written down, no design documents preserved. The knowledge lived in the minds of craftspeople and in the physical standards they referenced. When the Tiwanaku culture dissolved, the knowledge died. The blocks remained scattered on the Altiplano at 3,850 meters elevation, a silent demonstration that the precision was real and the methods were forgotten. Human knowledge passed hand to hand, master to apprentice, for generations until it reached a level we struggle to comprehend because we forgot how to achieve precision without machines. The 12 constructions documented here prove the capability existed. The measurements prove it worked. The ruins prove it lasted. In 2025, you can fly to Bolivia, walk into Pumapunku, and run your fingers across 6mm drill holes in andesite blocks that weigh hundreds of tons. You can measure them yourself. You can check the archaeological reports. You can verify the precision. Or you can stand at the Great Pyramid base at dawn and watch sunlight strike the northeast corner at the exact angle the builders calculated 4,500 years ago. You can measure the base with laser level. You can confirm Petri's numbers. Or you can visit Göbekli Tepe before sunrise on winter solstice and see shadows from the T-shaped pillars align exactly as Gil Hockley's calculations predicted. The precision is not myth. The precision is stone, and stone does not lie.